Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. I am your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon, and so glad that you're making this a priority for your child. This is about colleges that are best suited for solid B students and the ultimate guide. And you're here because you're looking to help your child have choices. And I always say to parents, your only job is to just help them through the process and make sure they have choices. Because at the end of the day, that's all they're going to remember. So hopefully you're here for the right reasons. Anyway, this is a photo of me and my mom as it's just not that many years ago. But that is a photo of my mom and my dad at graduation when I graduated from USC, which at the time was my dream college. And it was not as competitive as it is today, of course, but for me, it was Harvard. So you are in the right place. So that's my mom saying hello and welcome. If you are a parent who's wanting to get help for your child and just absorb all the kinds of knowledge, you are absolutely in the right place. Here's where sort of my journey began. I want to share with you that after I went to USC as an undergrad, I worked there for a year, and then I went on to graduate school. But I became obsessed with the process when I started working at Vasser College. I was working at Vasser College in the College of Admissions office. And that's really where sort of my eyes were open to the college admission world, the college admission industry, I should say. So I've been on both sides of the desk, but this is where it all started. And Vassar's actually, I've been to about 300 colleges, and Vassar's one of the most beautiful colleges, campuses that I've ever been to. When I was at Vassar, I started journaling every time I would go visit a different school, a different city, a different part of the country, and really see what private school students, elite private school students, what they were doing. And so I captured all of that in my book, Be Committed, Get Admitted. And it's really meant to be sort of like a behind the scenes look at the college admission industry and how it all works, and what I wish I knew as a public school student myself, and now what I wish most students know across the country. And I say public school, but I also really mean public and charter and religiously affiliated schools, and even private schools, because really that elite private independent school is really where I worked. And I know that they're getting pretty good information, but most students and families are not. I simply believe that most students just don't know how to sell themselves in a way that makes them stand out. And if you're a Gen X like me, like it was just easier, right? There were just fewer applicants. We rolled out of bed, we took the SAT one time, applied to a few colleges, and like it worked out. But in today's world, that's just not how the way it works. And most students just don't know like what to do to how, and in terms of how to make themselves stand out in a pool of applicants where everybody looks the same, quite frankly. So I took my knowledge and I became the director of college counseling, at Marymount High School. It's a private elite girls school here in Los Angeles. And we started using all the things I had learned at Vassar, and, all the things I was journaling about. And I was basically using those strategies. And really within the first 6 months, some of our students, we had really great success with students getting admitted to Duke, to Brown, and to Stanford within that early round. So I continued to really hone that skill and those strategies. And my first book was called Tips, Tales, and Truths. And so that's where I first gathered all of those all of that behind the scenes truths into about 33 tips and tales. And it's really easy and digestible. The book Be Committed, Get Admitted is actually a second edition. I just rebranded it. And updated some of the information in there and some of the tales. So if you have Be Committed, Get Admitted, you have the right book. So these were the early sort of outside of Marymount. So we were using this formula. I call it the Ivy Success Formula. We were using that formula at Marymount, and I was still honing it. But I started to get calls. Quite frankly, I was getting calls from other parents that had children at other high schools, and they were noticing our success at Marymount, and they wanted me to work with their children privately. So these are some of the early students that I worked with, and the success, the formula was working. So I thought, oh, okay, we're onto something here. It's important to note that these are not superhuman. These are not students who were recruited athletes. I don't think any of them were like valedictorian of their class. And certainly they don't have a billionaire's last name, but like they're just ordinary students who put in extraordinary efforts to really help make their dreams come true. And they were really coachable along the way. So along the way, I did a number of other things. I did my second edition book, Be Committed, Get Admitted. I've done a TEDx speaking gig, and I've been on a number of different TV shows, including TV interviews in New York and Chicago, San Diego, Los Angeles, and I feel like Cincinnati as well. So it's been super fun ride. But if you're looking for free information, you can definitely find it on my podcast, Destination U University, YOU. And so you can get as much there. You can also find me on YouTube as well. Here's Jonna. Here's one of our students from Chicago, Illinois, who started working with us when she was a sophomore. I put this here, obviously this is about B students, but I put this here because, again, same thing. Like she was an ordinary student. She goes to a top public school in Chicago, but it's a public school, and her mom just didn't know how to help her, and she had big dreams since she was very, very young. So it's amazing what can happen when you really put in the work. Here's some others, just students that we've worked with. Most of our students we work with come to us as what we call a camper. They take one of our programs that have some group coaching, a combination of group coaching and a combination of one-on-one coaching. Okay, so we're going to dive into these 6 real students. So you can kind of see, I mentioned them at the very top of the hour. So maybe strong curriculum, but weak grades. That's 1. This is 2, strong grades, but weak curriculum. That might be you. Strong involvement, but weak curriculum. Solid curriculum and grades, but just not strong. Okay, so this is a good example here. A strong resume, but weak transcript. And this tends to be pretty typical, like all around strong, but not like tippy top of the class, meaning like the top 1, 2, 3%, but just really strong applicant. Okay. All right. So go ahead. If you haven't already, type into the chat which one best fits you. Let me just take a peek here. Okay. So go ahead and just take a minute to tell me so that I know who's in the house, who's in the room here, so I can tailor it to you guys. So type the number 1 if you strong curriculum, weak grades. 2 for strong grades, weak curriculum. 3, strong involvement, but weak curriculum. 4, solid but not strong curriculum and grades. Strong resume. 5, weak transcript. Or number 6, all around strong but not stand out. So if you are somewhere that you can type into the chat, let me know. Oh, you know what? You guys might be tuning in from yes, it absolutely does apply to transfer students. Okay, I got you. So if you're on, I'm seeing the comments from YouTube. Maybe I don't see the comments from. Okay. All right, we're going to keep going. So hi, welcome if you're here. Okay. All right, so let's keep going here because I want to show you how this all works. Okay, you're going to see a number at the bottom of most of these slides that refers to the number podcast it is. Okay, so if you wanted to go watch the podcast, you're welcome to do so. Okay, so here is the strong curriculum, weak grades. What his strategy was to build a solid list of colleges, set up an interview before applying to the college, and he developed he had 1 D on his transcript. This kid was a COVID student as well, so there were a lot of things going on, but we developed that. Here's the strategy for Ethan. He decided on the major for political science. He developed a really compelling story that connected the grandfather's activism. So there was a lot that we could sort of work with, but he really honed in on figuring out what his story was. That was his strategy. Okay. Steve, he built a solid list of colleges. So strong involvement, but weak curriculum. You sort of don't know which colleges are going to go for you because academics typically is the main force, the thing that gets your foot in the door, and then it's not really what gets you admitted. So he's developed a strong list of colleges. Solid curriculum and grades, but just not strong. So this is Savannah, and she built a solid list of colleges as well. She was really specific about how she presented herself in terms of a compelling story and a thread throughout her entire application. That was really key for Savannah. You'll see what I mean as we go through. This is Bonnie, and she had a strong resume and a weak transcript. So she was relying, so first of all, she was the most organized student I've ever worked with. She had a spreadsheet. She was going to audition. She was going to leverage her talents in her application. She knew she was not the strongest academic applicant. So she not only worked with us and developed her whole story and her core 4 essays, but also really puts her efforts into the auditions. This is Lexi. So she built a solid list of dream colleges that were within her reach. And that's one of the things that we do. Most students are trying to access a top 100 college. And so really honing in on the list that is sets the student up for success. That's really key. So she applied to a number of community-based organizations. She leveraged her strengths as a STEM major, a girl, a female in STEM, and her experience with the nursing club, which you'll see. So what happened to these students? So here's Diego. So he, again, he developed really strong stories and developed a scenario as to why he earned that D. So you never want to just ignore the elephant in the room. He addressed the elephant in the room. So that was a good strategy for him. Ethan, I mean, this student, like, he was admitted and he's graduating now, going to law school from UC San Diego. This was one of those schools that, like, it's a reach, maybe a realistic reach, but he really got into a place by really developing the full story. Connecting the dots for the reader is what I should say. This is Steve. He leaned in. So he's at Babson, and he really leaned in. I think they either lived in Boston or somehow he is a Boston Red Sox fan. So he used a number of things to really, I think, drive home the point that he was committed to business, which Babson is basically a business school, and that he was committed to Boston, and it was really his first choice. So he used sort of all the pieces that he could to win the day. Here's Savannah. So Savannah, she wants to major in criminal justice, and she had done this Law Enforcement Explorer program. So anytime that you can really create an application that has a theme and a thread that is compelling and is like so obvious, that's always going to stand out among other applications for sure. So Savannah, actually, just based on her application, she was invited, like probably a handful of students were invited to an all-day interview, and she was one of 2 to receive a full tuition scholarship. She went on to Azusa Pacific University. So one of her strategies in her list was she included schools that she knew would give her merit money. So that was one of the things that was required for her. Here's Bonnie. She went to Rutgers. She used all the things to make herself stand out and be a strong applicant. And again, I can't emphasize enough for her. She was super organized and made sure to hit all of her auditions. Here's Lexi, and she didn't, I mentioned that she applied for some community-based organizations. The Quest Bridge and Posse Foundation offer some great scholarships. She didn't win either of those, but she was a finalist at Kalamazoo. And so Kalamazoo was so impressed with her, they gave her some partial scholarship merit aid. You can see she earned almost $1 million in aid that she won from all the colleges that she was admitted to. She landed some great options, and ultimately she chose Kalamazoo because of the merit money that was attached to that, right? I think she's one of 6 kids, so if you can imagine. But her really great thing is that she grew the nursing club. She transferred schools, high schools, and she grew the nursing club by 500% when she got to her new school. So really compelling stories, and all, again, tied together with her STEM interest. So how does this work with the Ivy Success Formula? I want to share a little bit with you as to like how we work with students and what our Ivy Success Formula, what that even means. And then I'll also share with you some other additional colleges that I really love for solid B students. Okay. All right. So the Ivy success formula includes step one. It's really assessing where applicants fall on the leadership hierarchy. We really believe that this is a key to success for all of our students. So if you look here, level one is school involvement, level two is school leadership. School leadership is like the selected and elected positions on campus, like your ASB president, your team captains, your editors in chief. Could also be like the captain of a debate or mock trial team that wins, a regional award, something like that. The coolness factor is probably what is most similar to what people call the passion project. So a coolness factor is something you do because even if nobody would paid you or gave you a grade, you might have a part-time job, you might volunteer at an organization that you just love, you might be learning three languages on just on your own time. You might love to read books in a particular genre. You might know all things baseball. So some coolness factor is what I call it, that you pursue, again, just because you want to. The impact project, do I have an example of that? No. The impact project, the difference there. So coolness factor is about 10% of the applicant pool. So that's pretty impressive. And I think, most people are going to sort of land there. The school involvement is about 95%. That's not going to help you. School leadership level 2 is about 15%. Then we get to impact project, that's 5%. So if you are a solid B student, imagine everybody applying to those colleges that you're applying to, your child is applying to, they're all going to look the same. They're all equally academically qualified. So actually students that work with us, we really encourage almost everybody to get to a level 4. So level 4, the difference there between level 3 and 4 is that we take from the Girl Scout Gold Award, which has 3 criteria. You have to solve a problem for a community you love and spend about 80 hours or more. So that is impact project. Intellectual project is a research or internship or something like that. That's 1%. And that's for students who are applying to top Ivy League type schools. Okay. So level 3, I would say, is sort of minimum, but level 4 is really where I think is a sweet spot for a lot of students. Ivy success formula, step number 2 is writing core 4 essays. These are signature essays that are specific to your child, that instead of spending all your time on the one personal statement, which again, if you're Gen X, like type in the chat X is Gen X. If you are Gen X, when you wrote one personal statement, right? That is simply not true anymore. So we talk about these core 4 as the main essays that every student needs. You need to answer, who am I? What am I good at? What is something cool about me? And why this major? If you can answer these 4, then we teach you how to repurpose and retweak these same essays over and over again. Why am I saying this? You might be thinking like, well, how many essays do these students have to write? Well, let me tell you. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Please tell me you're sitting down. So our students, our alumni students report that they will need somewhere between 18 and 48 essays. What? Yeah. So if you're from California and you're applying to the University of California's system, that's already 4 essays. If in addition to that, you're also applying to at least one school that uses the common application, that's the personal statement. That's 5 essays already. Then each and every college that you apply to through the common application system, each college is going to require an additional, not every college, but pretty much most colleges are going to require somewhere an additional 1 to 5, as many as 7 additional essays. So do the math, right? Even someone who's applying to 10 colleges, it quickly adds up. So that's why we use a signature core 4 essays. And we've been using this system, oh gosh, easily. We've been doing essay camps and essay workshops and different products since 2003. But we switched to using 4 instead of 2 essays pretty early on. I want to say by 2010, we were easily using 4 essays. Okay, step 3 is curating the right list of colleges. I mentioned that over and over again, a number of our students, our example students, that is the key to success, because so many students, families choose the most popular colleges, the ones that right? There's 100 top 100 colleges, and many choose to apply to something that they can name, and that tends to be about 30 colleges that you might be able to name, maybe as many as 40. So it's being strategic and using the right data to really drive that list. I'm just going to give you a few other examples here. We've got Kenzie. You can see Kenzie's at Penn State. She was a rock star. She started with us as a sophomore, and then did the essay camp later. Here's Ethan, which you saw before. Here's Riley. He's at the University of Alabama. I'm showing you this also so you can see some of the other colleges that they applied to. Anayansi, so good. She's at Syracuse, and will go into the entertainment industry for sure. Here's Grace and Laura. They're from Florida and from New York. You can see where they've applied, so different colleges. And gosh, Gracie, gosh, we're now working with her brother. So yeah, she's at FSU, and then I feel like Laura went to Marist College. She ended up going there. Jeffrey from Maryland, he's at Purdue in the engineering program. And Lauren, strong, just such a doll. She's at the University of Wisconsin in their business school. So she had a number of good business school programs that she was admitted to. Here's Lexi, as I said before, and Savannah. You can see a little bit more about them. So, okay, so far, what did you hear me say? And I'm going to pull up the other list of colleges so you can know, but what are some of your thoughts? What are you hearing me like, okay, how this all works and how it can work for you? Hi, Deborah. Hi, Mun. Okay. All right, go ahead and you can give me some feedback along the way. I'm going to pull up the list of other, would you like to see, just type into the chat the number 1 if you'd like to see a list of other colleges that I tend to recommend. Is that okay with you? Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and let's see, we're going to remove this. And let's see. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. And I'll share here. Okay, so what I want to show you here are some others. So I'm wearing Chapman. Chapman is one of my favorite schools, small schools. So let me sort of just run through here for you, because sometimes you just need an idea. Like you just need to think outside the box, or like what you've been thinking along the way. So we've got Chapman University here in orange. I like to say 2 things about Chapman. And that is, one, you can sit in their STEM, their STEM building, their newish STEM building, and the glass, there's a floor that has all glass and it looks onto the football field. Super cool. You can also apparently see the fireworks to Disneyland every night from the Chapman campus. So we've got Chapman, we've got University of Redlands, Santa Clara, University of San Francisco. You got to write some of these down for sure, because I think my prediction for what's coming in the near future, some of these are going to explode because of the big flagship public schools are getting so crowded as well. Here's Cal Lutheran. These are all California, and then like private out of state. So we've got University of Denver. So cute. Gosh, I think this is the one that has the pineapple on the top of their business school. Pineapple represents hospitality. We've got Hofstra University in New York. Very quick to get to the city if you're wanting to be near the city, but not in the city, or you want to get admitted to a college so that you can be close to the city. Marist College. Marist College sits on the Hudson River. It's really a beautiful site. It's in Poughkeepsie, New York, where Vassar is. That's the only reason I really knew of it, because I would pass it every time I was on the way to the gym I belong to. So it's a really great campus. St. Louis University, also one of my favorites. It has the most statues of any college in the country. So, and it's got some really great majors. It's got this business school and engineering school. So again, if you're a solid B student, but you're looking for business or or STEM, STEM and science and engineering, some of the majors that are just harder to get admitted to, think about St. Louis. The same as for Chapman as well. Here's some private out-of-state. Seton Hall, really known also for their international affairs programs. Marquette University. Yes, it's in Wisconsin. I know, cold there, but really great place, and it's one of the Jesuit institutions. Private out-of-state, Gonzaga University. Gonzaga is known. I haven't been following. I'm usually pretty good about this, but March Madness, if you're familiar, I'm a big sports fan with college anyway. So March Madness will start soon, and Gonzaga tends to be in the tournament and is one of the most Googled names or words. So Gonzaga is great. It's got some good stuff. It's not in Seattle. It's not in a major city, but it's near. Colleges that change lives. If you want to just Google colleges that change lives, it's like ctcl.org. There's a slew of colleges that are really great and have been known in the college admission industry for a very long time. Agnes Scott is one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever been to. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. It's all women's, by the way. Clark University, love. Guilford, love. Oh my gosh. I believe it's in North Carolina, if I remember correctly, love. Kalamazoo, where Lexi is a student and will be graduating this year, next year. Lawrence University, if you're looking to go to an institution that also will foster your love of music, there's a music conservatory there. So the VP, when I interviewed him on my podcast, you can find his interview. Also, Guilford's president, I interviewed. But Lawrence University, gosh, now his name just flew out of my head because now I want to call him Lawrence. He said, this is like the perfect setting for students who want to major in biology, but don't want to give up playing the violin. They'll be able to do both. Some public colleges: University of Nebraska, University of Miami of Ohio. This is where I actually lived. I lived in Oxford, Ohio, where Miami, Ohio is located. This is where I lived when I was writing my my first book, and then redrafted my second book. But I have a good friend. We went to Columbia together, Columbia University Teachers College, and she's the VP there. So I can say, it's a cute campus. I just love it. And it's in a college town. I've never been one. I don't know that I would have been one that wanted to be in a college town as a youngster, but having been there, I'm like, oh, I get it. It's so great to be sort of, in just a little bubble for 4 years, to be honest with you. University of Pittsburgh, that building is known as the Cathedral of Learning. It's so cool, you guys. Oregon State, beautiful student center. Rutgers University. So that is where a number of our students have gone, including Bonnie, who I mentioned earlier. And we've got Andrew, who's there now. University of Cincinnati. Oh my gosh, you guys. What has one of the best design programs. And do you all know who Taylor Swift's boyfriend is? Bonus. That's where he went to school. University of Cincinnati. Yeah, no joke. And then University of Colorado Boulder. This is quickly becoming pretty popular. So I'm not sure how, if it should stay on this list anymore. And then also Indiana University. My prediction is places like IU will grow in the ranks soon, because some of the others like UNC and UT Austin, UNC, University of Michigan, some of the other flagship public schools are just becoming inundated. So I think my guess is IU and Boulder will become the next. So that's my prediction. Okay. All right. That is what I wanted to share with y'all. So any questions, please let me know. I think and I'm just putting that up there in case if you're wanting to learn how to work with us in any way, just let us know. You can book a call. I'm happy to take your call and see if there are programs that would work for you. But let me know if you have any questions. I'll stick around here for just a bit more. Happy to answer anything that you have. What's one thing that you learned today? Let's talk about that. What's one thing you learned today? You're welcome. Hi, Deborah. Deborah, where are you from, by the way? 48 essays. Yes. Now, Deborah, I don't even want to scare you, but uh, one of my students that I work with privately and have known him since he was a freshman, he submitted 66 essays, but he applied to, Ivy League and whatnot. So some of the, like Stanford, Princeton, some of those top ones, they'll have as many as 7 extra essays. But even if you have like Chapman and just like 5 additional schools at 2 essays each additional, that's already 10 extra essays. So it can get really, really crazy really quickly. You're from Texas and California. I love that. Okay, good. And then what grade level is your child, Deborah? Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And I didn't talk about this tonight, but you know, everything was, fine and well when we were all applying to college. And then the US News and World Report started, doing the rankings. And that's when things just got a little bit crazy and colleges started, recruiting, marketing. And so it became an industry, a business. And that's sort of how we got to where we are now. And so if you live in Texas, you know that UT crossed the 100,000 mark this year. And actually, up until this year, it was just the UC system. There was only 5. There's 5 of the 9 UCs have over 100,000 received over 100,000 applications. But this year, there are several more. I mean, not like 20 more, but like probably an additional 3 to 6. We'll know by the end of this year. But how many colleges pass the 100,000 application mark? It's too much. It's too much. Twins? What is going on with the water here? Okay, you guys. I mean, Deborah, look, we're working with a set of twins from New York, and we just signed on a set of twins from Indiana. Isn't that weird? So something in the Kool-Aid you guys were drinking back then. Twins. So I know it's way too much. Okay, cool. So Deborah, if you have questions, like, I think it's just me and you right now. I know. The twin thing is funny. I talked to the mom today, so um yeah, let me know where your kids are applying or if you have specific questions about the twins. I will say, because you said the twin thing, I will share this little nugget for you, and that is your twins should decide, soon-ish, whether they are wanting to go to college together or not. I say that because then they'll have to be, if they are applying anywhere to the same institutions, they'll want to make it clear that they're happy to be separated or not, or not. I say that because when I worked at Vassar, all my colleagues were at the sister schools and the Ivy League. So some colleges have a twin policy. I remember very clearly Tamar talking about how Columbia University had a twin policy that if they took one, they were going to take the other. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing. So yeah, and then we didn't have at Vassar, we didn't have a particular policy, but if the twins themselves said they want to go to school together, then we honored that, so if we couldn't take the one or the other, we wouldn't take them, either of them. And then the reverse was true. So we didn't have a policy, but if they made it clear to us what they wanted, then we would honor that. So anyway, just a little nugget. So, okay. Awesome. Okay, great. Well, hopefully you can make an appointment and we can talk about the different programs that we have. Most families join us for essay camp, which is in the summer. So we have 5 different essay camps. Okay, I should probably just put that in the link too. Okay, let me snag that link so that you can at least take a look at our boot camp. Okay, so I'm going to put that here, and I'll actually show this on the screen, and this will be the last thing I do, unless you guys have questions. I'm happy to answer the questions. Let's see. Okay. Screen. Okay, so I just want to show you, this is what I put in the to the chat. But this is our signature program. This is what most families will end up signing up for. You can, of course, get more access to me than just this, but I wanted to point out the dates of our essay camps so that you can keep those in mind, because we have a limit of about 24 per session. So these are the dates. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay, you guys. Well, type into the chat if you're still here with me. What's one thing that you're going to do? What are you going to take action on? Because for me, it's all about leveraging your time and your minutes. Like, there's not an infinite. If you have a junior, you're literally 9 months away from applying to college, period. So it's going to come quickly. So we want to be able to start taking action steps. And I'm here for it. I'm all about master of your minutes. And I'm happy to help and guide you through this process. Okay, so tell me one thing that you're going to just do. Okay, what's one thing that you've learned, or you're going to have a conversation? You're going to look up some schools. What are you going to do? You're going to get a family email, a college email, like that's all for all things college, because you're going to get a lot of email. So that's sometimes a really good, useful, and practical thing to do. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, I'll stick around for just a couple more minutes. If you have questions, or let me know what you're going to take action on, I'd love to know. All right, everyone. Okay, well, it doesn't seem that you guys have any questions right now. No worries at all. We're here I'll be here live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, I'm in California, so every Wednesday at 6 and every Thursday at 4 Pacific time. Okay, so if you haven't signed up for tomorrow, you be sure to do that. I'll be here same time every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time and 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right, everyone, wherever you are, go out and make it a happy and sunny day. Bye for now.